Hi, this is Phil West for Inside Bikes, and we're here in sunny Spain with the launch of Yamaha's new MT-09 Y-AMT. 2024 has been pretty much the year of the Yamaha MT-09. In lots of ways, there have been four different models. There's been the base MT-09, which came out in the spring, the updated, well, the XSR version, the GP, which came out shortly after, which is a gorgeous retro style thing, the SP version of the MT-09, which has got a fancy suspension and uprated spec, and now this, the Y-AMT version, which stands for Yamaha Automated Manual Transmission, which, although it doesn't look much different than the MT-09, is probably the most important version of the lot. So what is it? Well, basically, as the name suggests, it's the automatic transmission version of the MT-09. It sounds very fancy, sounds possibly complicated. In truth, it's very simple, but also very effective. Basically, there's two additional actuator motors, one which operates the clutch, one which operates the gear change, some clever electronics in between, and some new switch gear which allows you to do a sort of paddle shift on the left bar and a selector button on the right, which allows you to choose between automatic transmission and manual transmission. So, how does it all work? Well, basically, as I said, there's automatic transmission and there's manual transmission. It sounds complicated, it's not really. Put it into automatic transmission and there's two modes. There's drive, or D, and D+, which is the sporty version. Bung into that, and away you go. It's just like a twit-and-go scooter that just notches up through the standard gears. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Easy peasy. Except the gear change is a little bit steppy. It's not got the, even in D+ mode, it's not quite as punchy and sporty as you might like. And at first, having come from the MT-09, you think, well, I've lost a little bit something here. Yes, it's easier to ride, but is it everything I want? That's number one. Then you've got the MT manual transmission mode, which through this seesaw button on the left bar, no clutch lever, you notice, basically you prod up through the gears with your index finger or prod down with your thumb, or you can actually use your index finger again to flick down by flicking the forward button. Okay, so that's the basis of how it works, but does it work for me? Well, at first, I must admit, I was far more sceptical about it than most people. I'm a bit old school, a bit technophobe, and at first I thought, well, they've sort of ruined a great bike. The MT-09, the standard version, is brilliant. It just does everything right. The quick shift is brilliant. It handles, goes, everything's perfect. But as the day wore on, I sort of came around to it. In automatic mode, you can just stick into D or D+, and say when you're coming into a town and you're just throttling off and you're just poodling around, you don't have to think about it. You don't have to think about the clutch. You don't have to think about riding. You just cruise along. And then, out on the open road, once you got used to the MT, how it works, at first I was using my thumb to switch down, and it wasn't really getting on with it. It was getting in the way of my braking when the weight's on my wrists. But I started using my index finger to flick down instead. And you go through the same usual modes as with the MT-09, i.e. the sport mode and all those. And it just seemed to click together. And suddenly my feet were redundant. Suddenly I was finding I could be as quick as I wanted to be. Suddenly it just seemed natural and progressive and the way it should be. So, yes, it works. Do I want one? Probably not. But, there's a big but to this. Yamaha's to be applauded for doing this. They've chosen to do it on the MT-09 because they wanted to emphasise the sporty nature of it. The MT-09 is a proven thing. Most people are familiar with it. They know it's good. They've put it on the MT-09, and no, they haven't ruined it. They've just given it a different dimension to it. By putting on the MT-09, they actually have proved what they set out to do, is shown that it's a sporty auto system and it works. I think most potential MT-09 buyers actually won't go for it. The MT-09 in itself, especially the SP version, is brilliant. Why would you? It's 500 quid more. Why would you? Unless you're an early adopter, one of those people who's driven up from two scooters. But by putting on the MT-09, they've proven it works. There are plans to do lots of other models. It is the future. They are talking about putting on more novice bikes, maybe more powerful bikes as well. I can really see this working on smaller bikes with guys who haven't got used to manual transmissions before. I can see it for older guys who want to have a more leisurely ride, want to flick into auto mode, and like people do with Honda DCT bikes. And it is coming. And by putting on the MT-09, they've proven it works. By saying they are going to put it on other bikes, it's quite exciting. I can't wait to see what they're going to do next. But me, I think I'd stick with an SP.